So a lot of people have been asking, is the world going to end this month, May 21st, or whenever these so-called Christian groups are saying the end of the world and Judgment Day and all that sort of stuff is? Emphatically, the answer is no. The end of the world and Judgment Day are not this month. In fact, Judgment Day, which is the White Throne Judgment, isn't after the Great Tribulation, and it's not until the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ. So if you know your eschatology, you would know that we're awaiting a final 7-year period in which 3.5 years into that period the Antichrist breaks his peace treaty with the nation of Israel and then begins what Zechariah foretold, which is the persecution of the Jewish people in the time of Jacob's trouble. And at the end of the final 3.5 years of that 7-year period, which is the last 7 years of Daniel's 70 weeks, at the end of that, Christ returns and sets up his kingdom for 1,000 years. After the 1,000 years, then is Judgment Day. So no, this month is not Judgment Day, because even if the rapture of the church took place right now, we would still be 1,007 years away from Judgment Day. So is the rapture of the church this month? Well, Jesus said, no one knows the day or the hour of his return. Emphatically, we know that his second coming, when he comes to set up his kingdom on earth, and comes back to Jerusalem to do everything that the book of Revelation says, we know that does not take place until the end of the 7 years. And we have it to the exact day, 3.5 years as soon as the abomination of desolations takes place. We know 3.5 years after that event that Christ will return. So we're awaiting the rapture of the church, not Judgment Day and not the end of the world, and no one knows the time of his return. So anyone who sets a date is violating the Scripture. We are to be ready, always, but no one knows the time. So I recommend doing a study of eschatology, of understanding the Great Tribulation, understanding the abomination of desolations, and the 1,000-year reign of Christ. Once you have a firm understanding of that, you're not going to be as gullible to believe that Judgment Day is going to come when anyone says it is, because we know emphatically that the Judgment Day, which is the White Throne Judgment, when God judges the damned and sends them to hell, that is not until the end of the 1,000 years. The Bema Seem of Christ, however, when we go up to be with the Lord, when he rewards us, which is not a judgment, but a reward ceremony, that'll take place at the rapture of the church when we're given our glorified bodies. So that's not quite yet. It could happen anytime, but again, no one knows the time. And we do know that we're living in around the time that it's going to occur, because Jesus said that the generation that sees the fig tree, which is Israel, blossom, will see all those things come to pass that he mentioned in the Olivet Discourse of Matthew 24. So we are living in these exciting times where Israel is back in the land after a 2,000-year exile, just as the Bible foretold, and we're seeing all the nations come against Israel. We're seeing Israel in the news all the time. It really is the center of world events, and it's a cup of trembling. In fact, I think over 50% of the UN's delineations have to do with Israel, and that's because God foretold through the prophet Zechariah that Israel, specifically Jerusalem, would be the cause of the final war that brings about Armageddon and the second coming of Christ. So we're living in exciting times, but we can't set dates. It could be 50 years from now, it could be 100 years from now, we don't know. But we do know that we're living in and around those times, because Israel is back in the land, and they haven't been there for 2,000 years. So this is the time when things are going to begin unfolding, but we're sort of waiting for the whole thing to take place. So we don't know. Anyone who says that they do know, that May 21st, this month is Judgment Day, has no idea what the Bible teaches. So don't be worried about that, and when May 22nd rolls around and we're all still here, you can say, I told you so. Now, the rapture could happen, but again, no one knows when. That could happen today, could happen tomorrow, could happen who knows when. So keep looking for the rapture. We don't know when it'll happen. Judgment Day is not on the 21st. That's not until the end of the 1,000 years of Christ. So you guys got nothing to worry about. The Bible does not teach us to worry about the future or worry about Judgment Day. It tells us that our blessed hope is the coming of Christ for his bride, for his church. So, nothing to worry about. It's all a false alarm. The Christians that are saying this stuff, I doubt if they're Christians, because they should have known what the Bible teaches. So, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope that's helpful. I know I've been getting a lot of emails about it, so there you go.